So, I would like to welcome you guys to another stream. We'll be doing Europa League final preview and prediction, and also the same for FA Cup final preview and prediction. So, we're starting with the Europa League final. It is going to be Seville versus Roma. What do you think about the match? I'm
The truth is, you look at Sevilla, and of course, the Europa League. It's like they've dominated the Europa League for quite some time now. You look at how they play, and in the domestic league in La Liga, they've not really been up and doing. Sevilla have actually struggled to keep up that momentum in terms of getting the results in La Liga, but this is Europa League. Unfortunately, they're just a different team, when they play in Europe. So I know the bookmakers, they will have Sevilla to see this one through because every final of the Europa League, most finals they play in the Europa League, they win the competition at the end of the day. But that's not to write off Roma. They have a fantastic coach in Jose Mourinho, and he has done a fantastic job for Roma. When the Conference League, Europa Conference League, when it first, came into the limelight, of course,
Yeah.
Jose Mourinho took them to the final and he won the competition. So he's a kind of coach that whenever he gets to the final, he does win. So it's going to be a very tense and fierce match to watch. Actually, Sevilla, they have some kind of players too. They have at least players that we should keep an eye on. And the most important thing is we have to make sure, or the each clubs have to make sure that they don't face or have any injuries before the final, because it's definitely going to be a very difficult match, a very very difficult match. But Sevilla, for me, I think will be the favorites based on their record in the competition itself.
for me, I'll go for Roma also, because considering like Roma's like run up to the final, round of 16 they beat Real Sociedad, which is a La Liga team 2-0. Then quarterfinals they beat Feyenoord. It is the Netherlands champions on aggregate of 4-2. And then they beat Leverkusen. It is a German team 1-0.
Yeah,
They've had like a more comfortable run up than Seville. Like Seville in round of 16, they struggled to beat Partnersby. Remember, like they won the first leg 2-0, but they lost the second leg for 1-0 to that team.
yeah, true. That's true. They are very
And
very
then,
okay. Go on,
yeah,
go on.
then against Man United, with they struggled to win at Man United's home, but they thoroughly beat us away, which is actually a shock to everyone. But I think it's also because of the new manager found since they had a new manager during that time. And also they did the same miracle against Juventus. They
Yeah,
drew with
that's
Juventus too. Huh?
yeah. Of course, I say you're making points. You're making a point.
They drew with Juventus in the first leg.
I think yes. I think it ended in a draw, 1-1. I think
1-1. Then Juventus beat no Seville beat Juventus 2-1. Was it at the home or at Juventus home?
yeah. I don't know, but I know the return leg was different from the first. I think a draw in the first leg and a win, I think. So let's find out. Okay, it was draw at Juventus home. Then Sevilla came to
Yeah,
win two
Juventus.
one in their home.
Oh, it means they have a good form at their home. The
Yes,
last
that's
two
it.
games.
Yes.
Yes. And so for me, I think Roma will win this game. I'm going for a prediction of another prediction of 1-2. What about you?
For me, I will still give it to Sevilla. The way you look at their runnings, you look at the way they've proceeded from the group stage down to to this level where they find themselves to the final. You have to give it to Sevilla and look at the manner at which they beat or they knocked Manchester United out of the competition. It's kind of intriguing. It's shocking. It's
Yeah, it
For me,
was.
like, yeah, it's like their stars are aligned, and they are definitely going to be the favorites. Mind you, Roma drew to Bayer Leverkusen. This the second leg. I think what actually saved them or made them go through was, the first leg against the first leg. Obviously, I think it was it a win? I think
Just
Roma
one.
won.
Yeah,
Okay, they
they
won.
won 1-0.
Yeah, yes. So that was what helped them. So imagine it was 0-0 first leg, 0-0 second leg. That could go all the way down to, if it could go all the way down to extra time, and that extra time, Bayern Leverkusen would have won because the stats don't lie. I don't think Roma had a shot on target compared to Bayern Leverkusen. When I saw the stats, I was thrilled. If you know what I mean. So for me, it's I'll go with Sevilla winning against Roma.
Because of what?
Is that?
Why?
Well, they own Europa League, for all I know, and like I said, the way and manner in which they knocked Manchester United out of the competition, it shows these guys can win it. They can win it, they can win the competition. And they showed it against Manchester United, they showed it against Juventus. So the expectation, and of course, you look at La Liga, I think they're out of Europa League and they're out of the Champions League, with how many games left, to play for the season. So
Yeah.
for me, yeah, so for me, I think it's a do or die affair because the only chance of getting into Europa League is, sorry, the only way by going into the Champions League is by winning the Europa League. And they'll go all out, they'll play, just do whatever they have to do to make sure that they qualify because that's their only ticket to the Champions League.
But can't you also say that Mourinho would pull out like a surprise?
I didn't get that.
Like, can you say that Mourinho can win the game though?
Yeah, of course, Mourinho. He's a good coach. At the end of the day, it might boil down to if you take away individual brilliance, you have to put into game tactics. You have to put into the game plan, the manager's tactics. What is expected. So in terms of that, so if Mourinho, we all know some persons say he's defensive oriented. So if he gets his tactics right, it's going to be a tight game. Actually, don't get me wrong, it's going to be a tight game. But it all boils down to you know the tactics, the game plan. Jose Mourinho could he could just figure out how he needs to contain this attacking and impressive in quotes in the competition Sevilla side, if you know what I mean. So Jose has a chance, still has a chance of winning, but it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yes. So we're moving on to the next one. That's okay with you?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so we're moving on to the FA Cup final of Man United versus Man City. How do you feel about the final? as an United fan.
Well, the truth be told, the truth be told, it's a, in a final, anything can happen. Anything can happen in the final, so it can go either ways. But everyone seemed to be backing Manchester City because you look at the form, you look at the way they've been performing, during the course of the season. They've turned up, they've scored goals, they've won games, they've been consistent, if you know what I mean. And they have a machine as a
Yeah,
goal scorer in Haaland. So you can expect and you can understand why people tend to back Manchester City. But like I said before, this is a final, and you can't write Manchester United off. It's a neutral location, but regardless of that fact, what needs to be done is you have to, as a team, it all boils down to, you know, performing at the highest level, and it all boils down to being sharp and ready to face a very good Manchester City side. So for me, I still think Manchester United will win. I'm not speaking like a Manchester United fan, but I still think we can, because Manchester City, there's still this possibility of doing the treble, and in order to stop, that, I think we have to go all out and play at the highest level. We have to give 101%. You know, and don't wait for Inter Milan to do what we are supposed to do. If you know what I mean. So, um,
yeah,
a tough game, and we have to also, or both teams have to, they have to bear in mind that their players must be sharp, must be fit, and you know, avoid injuries because we still have some games to play before the final, which is on the 3rd of June, you know. So injuries too can be a decider. It can be um, a problem, if you know what I mean. So it's gonna be your attack, I attack kind of game, if you know what I mean. So that's it. So it's
yeah.
Manchester another win for me, 2-1.
But 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 they think United have like advantage over Man City, like since they've been to Wembley before this season.
Yeah, that's it. All those things. To be fair, to be honest, all those things to count. They count as well because you can't just write them off. We've been to Wembley twice this season, and we turned up. We didn't disappoint.
Yeah,
So that could be another advantage. And a means at which the lads can get confidence heading into the final. Which is coming on the 3rd. But mind you, this is Manchester City. But I still think we've beaten them this year. Of course, we've beaten them this season. So I see no reason why they can't be beaten. And we saw Man City against Brighton yesterday. We saw how Brighton, the Zerbi's men were able to contain. He was able to contain Brighton. He was able to contain Man City. Contained Haaland, contained KDB, their creative players, Mahrez. They didn't have much, even though they tried to perform, but they were not able to deliver. A typical City was supposed to win, at least score 3, 4 goals, score 2, 3, 4 goals. But unfortunately, the Zerbi found a way, he found a chance, he just found a way to be able to contain City. And I think that is what we expected of Manchester United. We know City is a high scoring team. We must try as much as possible to find a way of containing the likes of Haaland, the likes of their creative players, the likes of KDB, Mahrez, Foden. The list continues. So Wembley, I think, is an advantage for us. It's a neutral location, but we can't just ignore the fact that we must win regardless. We must win.
yes. Speaking about Haaland, do you think Haaland should be banned for like swearing on live TV? Because remember, like one of our players is did that and he was banned in the
Yeah,
in the cup. So, what?
Yeah, for me, I think I heard the video. Haaland and Grealish. And most persons are trying to find a comparison between. I think it was when Rooney. I think said when Manchester United won, was it the league or FA Cup? I can't remember, but we won a title, we won a trophy, and when Rooney ended up swearing on live TV, and of course, it was banned. So for me, I think yes, Haaland should be able. The FA should maintain a level of consistency in terms of discipline. And for me, it's left for everyone to watch and see what the FA tends to do at the end of the day. But you know, Haaland, I don't think he should have said that, but I can understand the excitement level, winning the league and all, same as when Rooney as of that period. But we're talking about consistency here. We're talking about consistency here. If you can sanction a player, then so there should be a reason for you to also sanction a player now, and that is what is expected of Manchester United to do. Maintain that level of consistency.
So look at Man City's like run up to the final. They've had like a high scoring run up, managing to beat Chelsea, Burnley, and Sheffield 3 goals and above. Only team that they struggled against was Arsenal. They had of 32.
I didn't
Also,
get it.
Man United. I'm saying Man City, like they have had a high scoring run up to the final.
Okay.
Like managing to beat like Chelsea, Bristol City, Burnley, and Sheffield United, like 3 goals and above, and only like struggling against Arsenal. They had of 32 by winning 1-0. And United we have been having the same scoreline since round of 64 when we beat Everton, Eden, West Ham, and Fulham 3-1, and we struggled to beat Brighton 7. We struggled to beat Brighton in full time, but we won on penalties. So do you think our parent issue stats will be a problem to Man United winning the FA Cup?
Do I think what?
Like now United start goals in penalty shootouts.
Yeah. I think before now, at the start of the season, we've had issues in terms of scoring goals. We've lacked clinical finish in games, which for me is a major problem. And the good news is Manchester United will be able to resolve that problem this summer. But I don't think that may be a problem, in this final because we have players in the team, in the squad who can score goals. You look at Marcus Rashford, you look at Anthony Martial, you look at Jadon Sancho, you look at Bruno Fernandes, Ericsson. It's all about being clinical and being in the right place at the right time. Um, I think it's going to be a counter attack. Manchester United will try to hit City on the counter, you know, and of course, like I said, a player like Haaland, for instance, he scores goals, he scores crazy goals. But if you're able to find the tactics, that will be able to make him, more like miserable in a match, I think you should be able to get the job done, if you know what I mean. So I don't think scoring goals. I don't think, of course, if the opportunity comes, if the opportunity presents itself, we create a good enough chances. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't score. So for me, it's good. I'm still finding it very difficult to comprehend the final score, but I still think both teams will score, and Manchester United should be able to win because much is expected from them. Much is expected, and I can imagine when you have players like Casemiro, you have Rafa Varane in your team, you know, those lads are just sensational in terms of their energy and leadership. So I don't think scoring will be a problem for us. We will score. We will score.
Yeah. Do you think Rashford will be back from injury?
Yeah, of course, I think so. Because Eric Ten Hag said something earlier. He said today, and of course yesterday or thereabout, he said Rashford is available, so it's left for him to be assessed, to know whether he'll be match fit to start against Chelsea. But the good news is he's back in training. He was pictured in training earlier yesterday. So I think he will be available for tonight's match, and he will be available for the final because that's on the 3rd of June. If we play Chelsea today, I think it's like 3 days before we play Fulham, the last game of the season. So there'll be like maybe another 2 days or 3 days left for rest, if you know what I mean. So Rashford should be available because we need all our best players available for you know the FA Cup final.
Um, are there any like suspensions from Man United currently
So
that could affect? Are there any
suspensions,
like suspe?
no,
Yes,
no.
yes, yeah,
I think the only problem we have is just or are just injuries. Injuries concerned. Lisandro Martinez is out of the season, out for the season. Sabitzer is out. Donny van der Beek, he was pictured training, but he's not match fit. You know, so I think we don't have any suspension. We don't have any suspension, so we have to be careful. We still have 2 games left, so we have to be careful so we don't have any other suspended player or we don't have any player who will be injured. If you know what I mean, heading into the final because what we wouldn't want to do is not play our best players on that day. So I expect Marcus Rashford, for instance, who is back in training and is back in the first team to be able to make an appearance against Man City in the FA Cup final. So it's going to be a fantastic match to watch. So I don't think there is no suspension regarding any player at the moment.
but will you say that like us missing out on like Sabitzer being injured, it will affect our bench or the midfield?
I really don't think so. We've actually performed, we've delivered, we've gotten results without Sabitzer. Sabitzer was more like, in my opinion, I think he was more like an emergency signing. Especially when everything was out for over a month or a month or thereabouts. When Andy
Yeah.
Carroll tend to give him this hard tackle. So I don't think Sabitzer will affect our performance because with or without Sabitzer, of course, we don't have our depth in squad. Our squad depth is not encouraging and is not up to the standards, the required standard. But I think with what we have right now, I don't think Sabitzer's presence or absence will affect us. Of course, it's good to have every player available. Very good, don't get me wrong. But I don't think Sabitzer's um, unavailability will hamper our performance. No, everything is back. Of course, everything is available. We have Fred. We have the good news too is McTominay. McTominay is back from injury, so you can understand there will be this selection headache for Eric Ten Hag. So no player deserves to be ruled out of the season before the season ends. But I think Sabitzer cannot affect our performance or cannot affect. He can't affect us as a team. The only way you can say or one can assume or say that realistically he can affect us is only if maybe we still have a couple of players too who maybe are suspended or are injured as well. Then we can start saying, okay, he could be missed or he will be missed, if you know what I mean. So
I'm trying to look at like Man City's suspension rate or injuries.
I don't think they have any as well.
That's weird. They don't have any. They must have somebody who's injured.
I don't think so.
And so what's your prediction for the final?
Um, I think 2-1 Manchester United. But my head tells me,
Um,
what my head and my heart tells me is different. My head tells me we'll win normal time, and my heart is telling me it could go the way to extra time and maybe penalty.
I'll agree with you. You see, my heart tells me that I should go for Man United to win 2-1. But look at Man City's form. My head tells me twice to go for Man City's win of 1-0
Yeah,
because both teams are pretty strong. But Man
yeah,
City
of
have been
course.
on better form. Man City have
Yeah,
been on better form and consistent than we have.
yeah, of course. Consistency, consistency is key for you as a team to win games, and get the results. And you look at Manchester United, I think away form, our away inconsistent form have cost us this season. We are supposed to there. I'm sorry, we're supposed to be there, in the title charge. Be challenging the likes of Man City and Arsenal. You look at our home record, very, 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 very impressive. Very, very impressive. I think we've considered just 8 goals this season at home. So imagine those away games whereby we were losing games, we're drawing games. Imagine the were wins, actual wins. So you can imagine where we'll be at the imagine our position. We wouldn't be struggling for top four by this time of the season, you know.
Yeah,
So it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And you're right, City have been very, very impressive and very, very consistent. So
I think if we like won games that we were meant to win, we'll be like maybe number two ahead of Arsenal.
I didn't get you.
Now I'm saying like if you like how we lost games, like games that we expected to win. Like
Yeah.
if we won those games, we'll have been number two ahead of Arsenal.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. If we hadn't bottled, wins, and of course, we would definitely be in the title charge, like I said. So it's the deed has been done. So we have to look forward to next season. If you know what I mean.
So, especially like ownership coming into place, and
Yeah,
also like teams looking to strengthen. We really need to go out and buy players and back the manager.
yeah, very important. Yeah, of course.
Which I'm afraid the players should not do. If they can't budget, they're giving Ten Hag. I heard they're giving him like 100 million budget. Is that true?
Uh, yeah, I think reports like that. For me, I don't think it's enough. I don't think that report is true. He could get the report said 100 to 150, and of course, you add up the you add up whatever you get from player sales because you expect some players to leave the club. So if you add up
Yeah.
everything, so it should be maybe 200 million plus, if you know what I mean. Because you look at the kind of players we are linked with, the likes of Harry Kane. I'm sure he was going to cost around 80 to 90 million. That's just for one
Mm.
player, and
Okay.
yeah, that's just for one player. And you see reports whereby we are also linked with the likes of Mount, Missing Mount, Declan Rice, and a host of others, couple of others. Mount, for instance, may cost around 50, 60, 70 million. You know, that's that's 100 and something million plus. When you combine Kane's own transfer fee and that of Missing Mount, and there's also Declan Rice, so which who costs about 100 million. So but for the case of Declan Rice, it could be a player swap. Maybe you give West Ham 60 million, and maybe you have to probably add players to the transfer fee, one or two
Yeah, like
players.
Harry Maguire.
Yeah, maybe Harry Maguire or Scott McTominay
Yeah,
or any or both of them. So it's I don't think 100 million is enough for us to go into the market and sort out the season. Impossible. It will be more than that.
yeah, I agree with you. Like, also, like the current like transfer rumors could suggest that an offer has been accepted to buy United.
Now what?
Like like how we have been linked to like expensive players.
Yeah,
Like that could
right.
suggest that United is coming closer to a takeover.
Yeah, of course we heard that countless times. This is Manchester United, and of course we're the best. For me, we're the best club in the world. And it's normal for us to be linked to the best players. So it all boils down to, at the end of the day, who Eric Ten Hag wants. That's more important. And the type of player. We don't just get players for the sake of it. You look at Chelsea. What is going on with Chelsea, with the Chelsea team right now? It's as a result of not having a strategy. There's no strategy. There's no plan. You just go into the market to get players for the sake of it. And right now they have a bloated squad. They have a bloated squad. So I don't think we want to be in that situation. You'll be linked with every player, of course, quite all right. But you can't just buy all the players you're linked with. So I expect something different. Of course, Eric Ten Hag is a master planner, if you know what I mean. So he should be able to sort himself and the
Yeah.
team out. Yeah.
Like like I think the links of members to Man United is like fake.
You said?
Like the links of member to Man United.
Yeah, Neymar. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are fakes. Those are fake rumors because Man United cannot afford to buy a player, or they should not be able to buy the player. If you get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Because Neymar is a great player, but like Martial, he gets injured like halfway through the season.
Yeah, I think that's also a problem. That's something we need to look at. Injury proneness, his injury track record. It's something that every club and every manager will tend to put into consideration before you value a player and before you go all out to get this type of player. Of course, there's no denial Neymar is injury prone, but it could all boil down to his management, the player management, and discipline. Strictness, which for me I think Neymar has lacked over the years in his career. So when you come into a club like Manchester United, that is, I think there's a structure, there's discipline, and you know, everybody knows what they have to do. So for me, the rumors may not be true, but I think Eric Ten Hag was asked about the Neymar transfer about yesterday or thereabouts. So he said, when we have news about it, we will tell you in quotes. That was what Eric Ten Hag said. So if it's linked to a type of player, well, Neymar is the kind of player that every club will want to have in their team. You want to have Neymar in your team, you know. aside the merchandise perspective, but he's a good player as well. He's a good player, but most people will have to consider his age and you know his fitness. But it's going to be an interesting summer overall. So we'll just wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, me too. Like for example, each striker they think will manage best
So what?
striker. Like we need a striker to replace like Martial. So who do you think
Yeah.
will like sign?
The truth is, there are a lot of strikers we've been linked with, and these strikers are good, no doubt. They have good numbers. Like check stats, you check their record. It's impressive. You know, you look at Harry Kane, you look at Osimhen, Goncalo Ramos, Colomwani, a host of them, Rasmus Højlund, Ivan Ferguson. These are fantastic players. But it all boils down to the manager's style, his game plan, and his tactics. We need a pressing forward, a forward or a striker who will be able to make runs. You create space for your players, make running behind. You support your midfield, support your defense if need be. Be able to overlap and be in the right position at the right time. And for me, I think Harry Kane fits that profile very well because you look at Spurs, in spite of how Tottenham Hotspur have been, shambolic this season, he scores goals. He's like more of he scored a lot of goals for them. Very impressive. And you look at the kind of goals he scores, it's absolutely fantastic. World class goals. And the way he scores the goals, very important. So and I think that's what he will bring. He will bring this dynamism into the team. The likes of Sancho, who has not really been all right, in my opinion. You know, every Manchester United fans, most of us know this. The likes of Sancho, we might see the best out of Sancho. For me, I think Sancho is underperforming because he doesn't have that quality player as a striker upward that he'll be able to blend. You look at Sancho at Dortmund, you saw he had Haaland and he made the assist. Haaland scored goals, the goals. And for me, there is still a kind of comparison between the way Kane plays and the way Haaland plays. There are similarities. You understand what I mean? There are similarities between how they play. You are the right place at the right time. So if you have a striker like Harry Kane who can do all of that as I mentioned, I think we're good to go. Your attacking minded players will not have much to do because they know they have a pressing forward, they have a forward who can make runs, create space for them, to to taunt the opposition. So for me, my ideal replacement or striker I will need is Harry Kane. Most people are concerned about age, about Harry Kane's age. Harry Kane is 31. I mean, he's 30 rather. He'll be 30 this year. He's 29. Harry Kane is 29. So as a striker, 29 is not a bad age. 29 is still you still have a lot of years to go in your career if you are playing at the highest level and if you're a top professional. Harry Kane is not injury prone. The last time Harry Kane got injured, that was around 20, if I'm not mistaken, that was 2020, you know. So those are the kind of players we want to have in our team. Unlike Anthony Martial, who has been sidelined, he's unavailable whenever we need him the most. And that's why personally I'm worried in terms of the likes of Osimhen, because Osimhen is check his injury track record. It's alarming and it's worrying. He's a good player, but aside what these players tend to offer, you have to look at their fitness level because it's very, very important. And for me, why I think City, why they are where they are today is because their attacking players, their most important players, are always available whenever they are needed. You look at Haaland. Haaland has always been available. Mahrez. Mahrez has always been available. KDB has not really been available, but there's a better option, you know, that one can select from. So that's it. So For me, it's Harry Kane.
Mm. For me, the problem of Hurricane is see his determination to like win trophies.
You know what? For me, that's a myth. It's a myth, and I don't really buy that. That's what people think. You know, that's what people think. So if you sign Kane, he's gonna bang us goals. He's gonna win trophies for us. So people are saying that way to Kane because of Spurs. Spurs have been very, very mediocre. They have not really been the best of the best of teams, if you know what I mean. So Kane is the kind of player that
Mm.
will deliver for you anytime, any day. So anybody saying Kane is not, he's not ambitious, he's not this, he's not that, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. That's what they call loyalty. Of course, loyalty is there, but at the same time, you should know when you need to take the next step. And I think that's what Harry Kane hasn't realized earlier. He should have left Spurs a long time ago. But loyalty
Yeah,
to
he should have.
matters. It's really be interesting to see how it goes this summer.
No, when I talked about like Ken's like lack of ambition, like I mean like England as an England captain, like he has been the cause of like England like not advancing to the later stages of like the World Cup. Like example recently is the FIFA World Cup against France when he missed that penalty. It's that crucial penalty that could have sent them to the final. If you get what I mean.
Are you there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you muted yourself.
You said
You muted yourself.
I need what?
You are talking, but you muted yourself.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes,
You,
yes.
you heard what you heard what I said before.
I can't hear you.
I was saying you heard what I said before about like
Yeah,
the
about
World Cup
Hurricane. Yeah.
news.
Yes, I get what you
About the
mean.
World Cup news. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't judge him in terms of like Tottenham because I know Tottenham is an team that doesn't have a vision to win any trophies.
Yes.
Yeah. For
That's
me,
it.
I usually judge him on a national level. Mm. Anyway, I think we should wrap up this thing.
Okay.
Let me check the comments. So, would you like to shout out your social?
Yeah, of course. You guys can meet me on Instagram. MEFC Global. So that's a Manchester United fan channel that I run. Individually. So we talk about football, especially Manchester United related news. Rumors and so on. So that's when you can hit me. I think this is my first appearance on your channel. Big up. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was. But I think it was meant to be your second. The other time you missed out.
So
But it was meant to be a second time here. But the other time we missed out because you're busy. I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
we like to have you more often.
Yeah, no problem if I'm available. I wouldn't think twice.
Okay. So I'd like to end the stream. I'd like to thank you guys for joining the stream. I want you guys to subscribe to his YouTube channel, follow him, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.